Hello everybody. It is Jackie from Pocket of Preschool, and I'm so happy you're here because we are going to talk all about, if you can't guess it, a fire safety theme for your classroom. So I have sensory, art, math, literacy, fine motor, STEM, blocks, dramatic play. I have all of it here for you. So if you need any of it or want to refer back to it or more details about anything, check out the blog or my store and you can grab everything. We have details on how to make everything, plus links to all the things. There's book lists, there's dramatic play, in depth, all of it. So check out all of that wherever the links are, depending on where you're watching. So first of all, let's jump right in. So you can see I have a sensory tub with me. So what I did for this one, it is actually spaghetti. So you can try not to spill it too. Easy. So it's just spaghetti. So what I did to dye it was I just took like raw spaghetti out of the box and I broke it up. And your kiddos can even break it too. It's a great fine motor. Actually, the more broken it is, the better. You can also have your students break it for you. And then put it in a baggie and then put this is liquid watercolor was what I used to make this. Put it in a baggie, shake, let it dry, or like put it on I use foil because I'm a mess, or you can just put it out like on a tray and let it dry because liquid watercolor is washable and you are good to go. So that is my sensory base. All sensory tables need a base. And I did 1 box of red, 1 box of orange, and 1 box of yellow. It is so much fun. It kind of looks like fire, right? Like so fun. Listen. Like it sounds really fun. It's not super loud like some dry pastas are. And then I also added pom-poms. So I have just some orange, red, and yellow pom-poms. These are some sparkly pom-poms from a set I got from Walmart. And then I have these little tea light candles. I think they're like actually emergency candles. I got these off of Amazon. I think Dollar Tree has them too. Little tea lights so that way the fire kind of like shines through. So that's really fun. Gotta have some fine motor. So I added some tongs. These are like the kid size tongs. Like Amazon or Walmart is where you can usually find these. I just added the ones that are fire colored I had on hand. And then, and everything is linked to on my Amazon storefront. So yeah, so we have spaghetti, pom-poms. We have our little emergency lights. And then what else? Tongs. I put a few fire trucks in here. This is a set I got from Amazon. I think there was like 12 or 24 in it. I can't remember. They're like a birthday party set or something. Super cute. And then I have some measuring cups. Now, if your sensory table is small, just add like 3. So I typically usually don't have 4. I usually only have 3. And these are like a different kind of scoop, which is fun. I just grabbed the set I had that was yellow to match the fire theme. And then my favorite part about this, these are little spice jars. So I covered it in tape and then I just kind of made it pointy to look like a fire, put it around the lid. It does come off so they can dump it out because putting things on and off is great fine motor. And then at the top, they can twist it so they can make it be like little holes. So they can, hopefully they would sort by color. If not, I'm just happy they're doing some fine motor work. That's okay too. They can sort it in that way, or they can use the bigger spot and they can push the pom-poms through. Now, some of the pom-poms don't fit, so that's a great problem solving. So again, obviously we probably want them to sort by color, but if not, fine motor work is great. But yeah, these are just some spice jars I had. So save your spice jars, or you can buy some off Amazon too. But yeah, so it's just some spice jars that look like fire. And then spaghetti. And it is so fun. Now, I would probably put this obviously in my sensory table. I just put it in a smaller tub so you guys can see it. The only thing is these have button batteries in them. So if you are nervous that your kiddos will take these apart, take the button batteries out and just have the candles in here, because button batteries are very dangerous if swallowed. So if you're worried about that at all, have any concern, take them out, and they still look like a fire whether they're on or not. So, and they're all linked on my Amazon storefront in like the fun stuff category. So that is a really fun sensory table. Now, if you don't want to use this pasta, you can kind of get the same idea with this tubing. So this is that mesh tubing from like the Dollar Tree. Like I have some yellow that it's already cut up from something, and then you could use the orange and the red. I do have black too, but you could also use this if you don't want to use pasta. But yeah, but it's so fun. And I will say your students will like breaking it, but it's really great fine motor. And again, the smaller it is, that's honestly like the more fun it is to play with. So really, really fun. So fun. Okay, so that is one sensory idea, or your sensory table idea, I would say. Let me put this over here. All right, here's another fun one. Okay, so this is water. I dyed orange, so you can either put in a little bit of orange, like liquid watercolor, or you can do like a drop of red and a couple drops of yellow food coloring. And then I have like a collection of lids that I keep. So I have like some Play-Doh lids, some like lids. I keep a lot of my marker lids. And I've had families donate them over the years. So I literally went through all my lids and I grabbed the fire color ones. So it's kind of like there's a couple different ways that students will use this. So some students will they can stack them and like try and sink the bigger ones or build with them, see which ones will float. You can also put droppers in so they can try and sink the bigger ones, see how much it takes to sink them. So again, we're doing some science in here. You can also, they can squirt them to make them move. Again, lots of science. Where basically they're like, they're doing an experiment, right? They're like, maybe they're thinking in the rain. Now you won't hear them talk a lot of this out, right? They'll probably be like, I want to make that orange one move, so I'm going to squirt it. Oh, that one sunk a little bit when I moved it. Oh, I noticed that this one moved too. So they're going to be literally thinking through all of this in the rain, even though they're probably just going to be playing going, wow, like look at that one. And they're not going to be saying a lot of this out loud, but they will be thinking all the scientific-y things in their brain. And also these great, this is great fine motor. And again, I just grab the ones that are fire colored. Now, you can also, oh, don't want to spray the camera. You can also put in a squirt bottle and they can make it move that way. This is a little more messy. Some years, and also if you think this is too messy, bring this outside. That would be totally fun. And then also you could, if you wanted to do more of a sink and float type thing, you could grab, these are just some glass gems. These are the ones that kind of look like the jewels. You could also grab the circle ones and they can put those on and try and make things sink. So again, a lot of ways to play with this activity. It's really fun, fine motor and science. And you could also, some of them may sort and try and put all the yellow ones together. But again, really fun, really easy. Yeah, so that's another fun, fine motor activity. And science, and sensory, so many things. Okay. Let me make sure I don't spill this, you guys. Okay. Hold on, just moving it out of the way. Give me 1 minute. Okay. So that is a sensory science. Another thing you could do for sensory, fine motor, is, you guys know I love a good Play-Doh tray. So this would be a Play-Doh tray. You guys always ask how I keep my Play-Doh tray. Typically like this. So I keep it in a zipper baggie so the students can get it out. And then they can play with it that way in the bag. Now, I cheated on this. It's like fire Play-Doh. But what I did was I literally took store-bought yellow, orange, and red, and I kind of mixed it together. Don't mix it a lot because eventually we'll turn all orange. or you can put out the orange, the yellow, and the red, and the students can kind of mix it together, and eventually it'll look like this. So that would be really fun for color mixing too, so you can do that. And then what I did was I grabbed, again, my fire colored tools. So rolling pin, I have this rolling pin. Don't forget your scissors. You can use Play-Doh scissors or regular scissors. Any kind of like knives or spatulas you have, grab those. I have these fire cookie cutters. There's 3 different ones. Again, we're exploring size by using cookie cutters that are different, the same ones that are different sizes. Pass me the small one. Pass me the big one. Oh, this one is a medium size. This one's smaller, bigger. So they're going to be using that language during play and as they're asking and sharing materials. I have some little firefighters that I found at the Dollar Tree one year. This is those gems. These, you see me use these a lot at the light table. I just grabbed out the fire color ones. Here's some more of the fire trucks. And then I made little fires with pipe cleaners. So I just kind of like cut them and just twisted them together. And we have a whole bunch of little fires that they can stick in the Play-Doh. So really fun. And again, I use a little bag. That way students can zip it up independently, and I keep it on there just like this. So if you were in my classroom, the Play-Doh tray would be just like this, and there's always a spot in the Art Center for the Play-Doh tray. But they're more likely to close it if there's a zipper on it. So that's my trick. So that is a really fun Play-Doh tray. All right. Oh, dramatic play. So I don't have it up, but at the end of this video, we will attach, if you're watching this recorded, you can fast forward. At the end of this video, I will give you a tour of my fire station dramatic play, show all you guys all the props and everything. If not, you guys can hop over to my blog and check it out. It's really fun to have a pretend fire station in your dramatic play center. It's a great way to sneak in some health and safety standards for them to practice dialing 911 during play, being the firefighter, rescuing, helping others. It's great. Some great social skills in there too, and some social studies. So a fire station is a great thing to do in your dramatic play. But either watch at the end, we'll attach the tour, or you can hop over to the blog to see it in detail. So make sure you check that out. All right, so let's keep going with art. So now I'm sure you're thinking, like this is an easy peasy one. So this is a freebie on my blog. It's just a little fire. And what you can do is I usually put out little squirt bottles of red, yellow, and orange. They can squirt it out just a little bit. They're about this big. I haven't grabbed one, I forgot, sorry. And they can smoosh it around. They can make it all over. And then when it's dry, they can either cut it or I can cut it out. And just a really great, fun, open-ended art activity, exploring mixing colors, which is great to do also at the Science Center during your fire theme, because fire is basically mixing red, yellow, and orange, right? So how do you make orange? By mixing red and yellow. So if you need something at the Science Center, that's perfect. This is also great for an open-ended art activity. And then you can cut it out after it's finished and hang it up. And again, this is a freebie on my blog. So another idea you could do, I call it ladder painting, but, oh, let me grab these out of here first. I call it ladder painting. It's really rubber band painting. It kind of looks like a ladder, right? Oh, I put extra paper in here. Okay, so this is just a box with some rubber bands. I typically get weird sized rubber bands at the Dollar Tree. They always have like funky rubber bands, and like you can get like a pretty good sized bag of them for cheap. At least that's where I always get mine from. So what they're gonna do, it's also a great instrument, right? So what you're gonna do is they're gonna put their piece of paper in, put it in the ladder, right? Because firefighters go up the ladder. And then you can put out your paint tray. You can either put out these straight from your art easel. You can put these on the table. I also sometimes like to, oh geez, I'm falling apart over here. Make a paint tray by taking a muffin tin, and then I put in little Throw those little like restaurant cups of paint, and then I can close it at night, or you know, when the day's done. But basically what they're gonna do is they're gonna paint the rubber band just in the middle. And you can put out all the colors, some of the colors, whatever they kind of want to do. But the little paintbrushes work really well in the little cups. It's okay if it dribbles a little bit. And then, so they're gonna paint the rubber bands. And then, okay, last time I did this, I splattered my face. It does splatter a little bit. So if you're worried about it splattering like this, use a smaller box and put it inside of a box. But it's really fun, and look, it just like splatters. It also makes really fun noise, so this is also great for like a music theme. But look how fun that is. Okay, I just don't want to get paint all over me. But I'm a big kid, right? Then they can splatter, but look how fun that is. And again, you can put a whole bunch of rubber bands out. You can put just a few, and then they can do a ladder painting, which is really just painting with like rubber bands, right? So it's really, really, really fun. It's a little bit of a mess, but totally worth it. It's a great open-ended art activity. And then like they can just slide. Okay, of course mine's stuck. They can just slide it out, and then they can do another one. And the great thing about this, they can keep doing it over and over and over and over, and it takes a while to fill up their paper. So it's an activity. It's, you know, sometimes art, like they paint, like they finger paint and then they're done in like 3 minutes or 3 seconds, it feels like. They can like do this one over and over and over and keep adding more in different colors, and it'll just get covered, and it's really, really cool. So it's a little bit of a longer lasting art activity, because sometimes I feel like they just end so fast. Okay. So, and then the other one, which I'm sure you guys have thought of, is a blowing painting, because firefighters put out the fire, right? So take some paint and mix it with a little bit of water. This is also a great oral motor activity to work on those oral motor skills. You can also, if you want to put this in like a little squirt bottle, you can do that too. Or you can even put like a spoon in there, in this cup. Okay. And then they can blow the fire. It's really fun if they kind of like put it on top, and they can kind of like mix the colors together. And don't forget to put out gold. But like look how gorgeous that is. It's so pretty. And you can put out glitters. They can add a little bit of glitter to it too. You could also, since they're putting the fire out with water, you can pretend this is the hose, and you can use different shades of blue. Again, if you're doing color mixing, that's also really fun. That you could do like a dark blue. You could do like blue and white, and like kind of like a bluish, like a tealish, like different shades of blue basically, instead of the fire colors. And then it can be like they're spraying the fire with the water. So really, really fun. So fire finger painting, ladder painting, which is really painting with rubber bands, or you can do blowing for art. And then don't forget about your art easel. At your art easel, you can put up a fire truck for some inspiration. You can also put up one of the directed drawings, like on a hook. Now, a directed drawing is not open-ended art, but you can put this up there just so they can follow it if they want, or just kind of get the idea that big shapes, put big shapes together and little shapes together to make a fire truck. Will they follow it step by step? Probably not, especially if there's paint out, unless you want to put a marker out here too. They may just paint a big hot mess, but that's okay, because those hot messes eventually turn into things that look like something, and then eventually they turn into things that you can tell what they are. And your fire truck, especially if you teach littles like 3s, that may be like kind of like a big square-ish with just 2 black wheels on it, and that's okay. Or they may want to just paint fire, like a whole bunch of fire everywhere, and that's okay too. And just so I typically change my colors out to match the theme. So like I got rid of the purple and the green and the brown, so I have out blue for the water, and then red, yellow, and orange, and black. So we just got fire safety-ish colors. Okay, so we're gonna keep going. All right, so that's art and sensory. And I have blocks at the end too. I have my block center all set up so I can show you guys that at the very end. Now, a lot of my math and literacy printables are in my fire safety centers. You can get this in my store. It has 2 fine motor, 1 writing center, 6 literacy, and 8 math centers. So a lot of this is in here, and it comes with photos of how you can set it up and manipulative ideas you can use. But one of the fine motor centers in it is a fire hat. So depending on the level of your kiddos, you can cut the fire hat out or your students can cut it out. And then they are gonna cut strips of paper to make their fire hat. And then all you're gonna do is put it on a sentence strip. Then they have their fire hats. Now, don't forget you can put out bounce back scissors. These are the scissors that bounce back open to give your students a little bit of extra support, whether they need help cutting and using scissors, or maybe their hand gets tired and worn out. You can also make these strips bigger, so there will be less to cut to fill this in. So if you have younger, like 3s and 4s, make these like 1 inch bigger, so that way they don't need as many pieces to fill this in. That's another way to easily differentiate it. Now again, this is not an art activity. This is fine motor because art should be something that's open-ended and where everybody's looks different. Everybody's is gonna look the same. So this is a fine motor. You can have it in the art center, but just know this is fine motor and not really open-ended art. But we need both, right? So for books, I'm gonna show you some of my favorites. I also have a giant book list on the blog of some books all about fire safety. 3 Little Firefighters, this is a great one. It talks about shapes and they have buttons on their coats and they lose their buttons. So 3 Little Firefighters, it's a great book to teach shapes and sorting. And then this one, I'm Brave, it's about a fire truck and talking about how he's feeling because fires can be scary. So this one's great. Now this one is a board book, but it's really fun because it is the wheels on the fire truck. So this is a great one to read once, and then they can read it over and over and over again. You can also read it once and then make it one of your songs from Music and Movement. Finger plays and music that's not on the smart board is super, super important. We need to be doing songs and finger plays with motions and moving their bodies rather than them watching the screen. So you can read it once and then you can do it during Music and Movement, but it's just the wheels in the fire truck go round and round all through the town. Obviously, the verse is long like the normal one, but in this book they have like the riders on the fire truck, hold on tight, hold on tight, hold on tight. And then the ladder goes up, 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 you know, and so your students, they can be squatting and then they can go up, up, up and stand all the way up. Again, we need to be moving and doing a lot of finger plays because these have a lot of rhymes in them and rhythm. So great book. It's a board book, but read it once and then they can reread it over and over and over again. Again, it's a great then to use for Music and Movement. Firefighters A to Z is another great one. Don't forget about your social stories. So this is the fire drill book that is in my fire drill social skills. This is a great time to reread your fire drill social story book and practice your fire drill. You can, a lot of times you can call your local fire department and they can come in or talk to you, talk to your classroom and they can go out and show you the fire engine. But it's a great time to kind of review the fire drill because it's probably October, right? You probably maybe have had one. It's a great time to review what it is, what happens, and actually literally go outside and practice the fire drill when there isn't one happening. Especially if you have kiddos who are very, very nervous or scared or anxious about fire drills. Because it's loud and scary sounding, right? And this is another one, Fire Truck's Dream. It goes through all the things that a fire truck does during his day. So it's a really, really great one. I love this one. So awesome. And then Fire Truck Fran. This is a great one because it talks about all the different things that the firefighters do besides just put out a building fire, right? They can put out a forest fire, and the illustrations are painted and they're gorgeous. They help, sometimes if they have students come to the firehouse or children and they teach about the firehouse. Sometimes they help in a car crash. They also eat at the firehouse. This one's they help with, down trees. So all the different things that firefighters do that isn't just putting out a house fire, which I think is really important, because a lot of times when firefighters are in their gear, little kids are really, really scared of firefighters, especially if they have their mask on, their oxygen mask, because then they look like this big scary thing and their voice is going to be muffled. So if they are in an emergency, whether it's a car crash or a forest fire or wherever, just the down tree in the road or something, anytime they see a firefighter, they're going to know that firefighters can help them in any kind of emergency situation, not just this typical, my house is on fire, that's when they're going to help me. So this is a great one for that. And then, you ready for some literacy activities? So in your writing center, what I typically have is, we're gonna pretend I'm a wall. Okay, pretend I'm a wall, and what you're gonna do is you're gonna put all of your fire safety words and your pocket chart on your wall. If you teach threes, use them that has the uppercase letters, because little learners have little hands, and little hands can make that's easier to write capital letters. So I typically use the capital letters words with my littles. But if you have pre-K, there's also a set that has, your typical lowercase. We want writing to be fun and not scary and not horrible. A 3-year-old scribbles like this. If that's how they're scribbling, they're probably not going to be able to make a lowercase e yet, and that's okay, because their hands aren't ready for that. You wouldn't have a kindergartner sound out a, CBC word if they know 0 letters. So we gotta meet them where they're at. So if they're writing independently, we want them to write and have fun, and write where it's not frustrating. So if you have littles or friends who have super, super weak fine motor, put the uppercase letters in word set, and then, in the spring transition in the lowercase. There's also these letter alphabet cards, so they can practice them. Now these are great because you can use them with manipulatives. So I have, look at all the paint on my hand. So they can make even if they can't write them, which a lot of our littles are not their fingers will not be able to make a lowercase f or a lowercase e or whatever lowercase letter it is, but they will be able to build them with manipulatives. So, and you can also put some dry erase markers in there so they can attempt it. So that's something you can put in there. And then I always have different writing paper. I do have different options. There's also full page, there's some with lines. And then put in, this actually comes with this activity. It is just a letter tracing worksheet, but put it in a dry erase pocket, and they can trace some of the letters in the writing center. So if I'm the wall, the pocket chart would be here with all the words in it. You can also have words on the table. Then you can have this there. You can also put in your fine motor craft in your writing center as well. So those are some ideas for you for your writing center. But don't worry, I have more. Okay. So if you want a fun way to practice writing words, this is a writing tray. So I have red, orange, and yellow sand in here. The yellow sand has now mixed, and so it all looks orange. That's okay. And I have my word cards. Again, you can use the uppercase set or lowercase set, and they can put it in here. I love putting little pom-poms in. They can grab the pom-pom, and then they can pinch it, and they can make the letter in the writing tray. Again, this is a cookie sheet. They can shake to erase, H-O-S-E, and then shake, shake, shake to erase, because when they're pinching this, they're having to use those pincer muscles, because some kids don't want to touch the sand, and that's okay. Also, if you don't want to use a writing tray, you can make a sensory bag, mix put in red, yellow, and orange paint in you can either do a sandwich size or a gallon bag. Use the Ziploc or like a name brand so that you don't get punctures in your bag. But, and they can write it in the sensory bag too if you don't want to do a writing tray, or you can do hair gel and put all those different, like couple drops of different liquid watercolor in there, and then it could be at the light table too. So that would be really, really fun. So many fun ways to get kids writing letters. All right. Another fun thing you can do in your fine motor journals. So what are fine motor journals? Fine motor journals are just a place for us to practice writing all the different types of lines. So, and if you see, I had my little bookmark, which is just a piece of ribbon, so we can find our spot. So basically, fine motor journals is I do it and then you do it. So you can do ladders, and you can talk about how ladders are, and you can show them the type of line. So this is a vertical line down. So we're gonna go down, down, start all the way at the top. Go down, 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 stop. Down, 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 stop. Down, 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 stop. And then you would have them do it. And then they would stop. They would do it. And then say, oh, our ladder, it needs little steps to go across. So that's going to be, obviously you would have this prepped for you, because these are like little dashes. So I'm gonna touch the line, go over, 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 stop. Touch the line, over, 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 stop. Touch the line, over, 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 stop. Touch the line, over, 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 stop. And say, okay, you guys try. And I want to hear you say it, because that's their private speech, right? That's what they want. You want them to say to themselves in their brains, so that way they can tell their hand what to do. So I'm going to touch the line, over, over, stop. Touch the line, over, over, stop. And then they do it on their ladders, right? Because how many times do you see kids make F's and H's where they just start over? So, right? So we're just practicing touching the line and going over. Touch the line, going over. Okay? And say, oh my gosh, what letter does that look like? You can say it looks like, maybe you want to practice F. Maybe you want to practice H. But have them flip their journal over and say, okay, we're going to practice whatever letter you say. F, H, E, all those letters work. You're going to go down, down, touch the line, across. Down, down, touch the line, across. Okay, you guys try it. And then they make it in their journals. Obviously, some of them are going to make it big and obnoxious. Some of them are still going to do this. Say, oh, remember we touch the line and go over, over, stop. And then say down, down, touch the line, over, over, stop. So just really, really fun. So you could do that. You can make ladders. Another thing you could do, obviously, would be to make fire. So you can say sometimes we make hills going all the way down. So I'm going to start at the top and I'm going to go bump, 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 bump. Or you can say curve, 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 down. And then I'm going to go back up to the top. And you can put out all the different colors that make fire. And then they're going to do it. And then you can go, oh my gosh, does this look like a letter? And again, depending on what letter you need to work on, you could do C's, you could do S's. You can say, okay, we're going to do big curve, stop. It's like a little fire. Big curve, stop. Big curve, stop. Okay, I did it. Now you guys do it. And then they're going to make it in their journals, right? Some of them are going to make it big. Some of them are going to make it backwards, right? So yeah, so that's another thing you can do. Also, all of these, like you can have them make fire on a big piece of butcher paper if you don't want to do it in fine motor journal. So put a big piece of paper on the table in the morning and you put a couple fires going down, and then they can fill it in on their big piece of butcher paper. You can also, when they come in the morning, I love doing butcher paper activities in the morning. Everybody can make ladders. They go line down, and put a whole bunch of lines going down. Another thing you could do is a fire letter collage or a name collage. So I'm just gonna do the letter F, for example, and you don't have to do these in your fine motor journals. You can do them obviously in your regular, where's my glue stick? Here it is. You can do these in your, like just on a piece of paper. So what they're gonna do is I love using streamers because they can cut their fire, because Or you can have them tear it because it tears really easy too. And what they're gonna do is they are going to make their F and then they can glue on the fire, or you can have them crumple it up, whatever you wanna do. Or you can have them, you know, they love to make little pieces. You know they love that, right? How many times you're like, oh my gosh, look at all those great little pieces you made. But it's a really fun way to practice scissor skills and practice a letter. You could do F for fire. They can do a letter in their name, whatever you want to do. And let's pretend that they did the whole thing. If they finish early, what I typically have my kiddos do is I have them make more of that letter around it as their friends are still finishing. So that way they have something else to do as their friends are finishing. So, and all this is like it's in a little bowl. So it kind of just like pulls out. And you can get this like don't throw it. You can get this from like the Dollar Tree. Any basket will work, but yeah. So you can make little fires. Okay. All right, so that's one activity. All right, you guys ready for some literacy activities? Oh geez, stuff's going everywhere. All right. Okay. All right, so in my Fire Math and Literacy Centers, I have this activity. They are a fire letter, and I have two little fire people. So what they're gonna do is they're gonna go B, B, boot. And then they're gonna move it. And then their friend's gonna go B, B, boot. And then they're gonna go C, K, cat. And their friend's gonna go C, K, cat. D, D, dog. They're gonna move it. D, D, dog. Right? Now, if they don't know their letter sounds, that's okay. They may just go D, dog, E, edge, F, fire, right? Or you can also add a dice. Now, this comes in 4 pieces, so you can have 4 of them. Or you can cut it together and make a giant letter alphabet. You could also use this for like your circle time. You can start your circle time every day. And you can make the giant one, and you guys can all do it together. A, apple. B, boot. And you guys can do it together. C, cat. D, dog. Or you can print it and just do 1 page a day. And again, I just put these little people figures come with it, and they can just move it up the ladder. You can put it with the dice, so that way they can roll the dice and go up that many. If you do use dice, they can go up that many. Once they reach the top, then they roll the dice to get all the way back down, because the firefighters go up the ladder, they have to go back down. Just makes it last a little bit longer. And the clothespins are just great fine motor work. Okay. Another literacy activity I have, this is one I like to do in a pocket chart, or you can do it like at a table. Oops, I bent it a little bit. Sorry, guys. So these are little fire boots. So it comes with 2 options, uppercase with uppercase or uppercase with lowercase. So you can put the extra boots in here, down at the bottom, and they are going to match them. Now, with alphabet games, especially since it's the beginning of the year, if you teach 3s or if you teach 4s or pre-K, or maybe even kindergarten, you don't have to put out the whole alphabet at once. Like you can just put out these and that's enough. You can also put them out kind of at a table in the morning, and they would have to match them, right? Again, we're not matching all of them. We're just matching some of them, because matching 26 letters is a lot for littles. So maybe they're just matching some of them, right? So just a really fun letter match. You can also do this as a transition activity. They can match you can hand each kiddo one, and they can match it to the boot, match the letter, match the boot to that letter, and then like they can go to snack or something like that. So I love little letter puzzles for that too. Another fun alphabet activity we have is this write and build. So pretend like these aren't on there. So what they're gonna do, we have our little fire hose. You can use anything for this, like a piece of yarn, a pipe cleaner. What they're gonna do is they are going to, I have uppercase letters on one and lowercase letters on the other. And again, you don't have to have all of them. You can just have some of them, but they are going to match the uppercase with the lowercase. If you teach threes, they can just pick, it's okay. Just have them pick one uppercase letter and they're going to write it. Oh, my marker's drying out on me, but they can write it. Or if they're ready to, they can do uppercase and then they can find the lowercase and then they can make it. You can also have them make their names and put out your student name cards. That's another idea. If you're working on sight words, it comes with sight words. So they can get the sight word, they can build it. I did this early, so you didn't have to watch me find the letter, and then they can write it in on the board and then erase, erase, erase. And they're good to go. So again, so many options, really fun. And again, you don't have to use this rope, that's that like netting. You can also use a pipe cleaner too. Again, we just want them manipulating, noticing those letters, having fun, doing it in a fun and meaningful way, right? So we have firehouse rhymes. So here is that tubing that I cut up, and I threw in a couple jewels as well. So this would be really fun to put in a sensory table if you don't want to use pasta. And then we have our firehouses. So this would be, I always say my center games are great to use in, as file folder games. This is one that would be really great. They're curling on me. In a like a file folder. So what you would do would be glue 4 of these. They're all sticking together on me. In 2 on each side, right? And then you could have the Velcro pieces and they would match them. Dog, frog, log. So now we have our little firehouse. Boat, oh, that goes with the goat. But sock, lock, clock. So basically they're putting the fire engines in the firehouse based on the rhyming word, and it comes with 6. But so just a really fun rhyming game. And again, you don't have to use all of them. You could use 2 of them. You could use 4 of them. But I like putting like little puzzle pieces in like a little mini sensory bin or sensory table, just to make it just a little bit more hands-on and a little bit more fun. So those are our firehouse rhymes. And then the last literacy activity I have for you are syllables. So my kiddos always love clip cards. So these, they're gonna count the how many syllables and clip it. So ambulance, ambulance. They're gonna clip it. Extinguisher, extinguisher. Hydrant, hydrant. And they can clip it. Again, super, super simple. You can always put a sticker on the back so they can flip it over and see if they got it right. And there's a bunch that it comes with. A lot of the words are like a fire vocabulary. So we can build up those themed vocabulary words. So that's another fun one. Another thing you could do is grab some tape, and I know this is kind of an oldie but a goodie, but make letters on the ground. So make like a big A with the orange. Make a big A on the floor with orange. And then make a B with red and a C with yellow. You could also do shapes or numbers. And then give them little fire trucks, and they can trace and crawl. Excuse me, they're gonna crawl, obviously, and they're gonna be driving the fire trucks because you want the letters big, because students need a strong core to have strong shoulders, to have strong arms, to have strong fingers, because we start from our belly and go out. So we gotta build those cores up, make them super, super strong. So crawling and like moving around on the floor, moving those trucks, making those letters with their again, holding their core, holding their arms. That also helps them build that posture so that way their abs can hold them up while they're sitting and writing when they're in kindergarten and 1st and 2nd grade. So make letters on the floor and they can drive the fire truck and make them. Another idea. Since we're talking about gross motor, why not talk about some more? So you can make the letters on the ground, but why not do a fire obstacle course? So you're gonna make a ladder on the ground with tape. So you're gonna make 2 long lines and the steps in between, and they can either, so that'll be like the first part. And then you have at the end a fire. So you have a couple options. This hula hoop's a little bit smaller, but obviously the preschoolers are not as big, or pre-K or kinder. They're not as big as me. So they'll be able to fit and crawl through. Again, we want to crawl and get them moving around on the floor. And it'll be so fun. But they can crawl through it. Now, if maybe your hula hoops are smaller, like I don't have one that is big enough to crawl, or you think it would get a little out of control. They also need to work on throwing. So you can have them, and if you don't want to throw balls or like things like something hard in your classroom, you can always throw, crumble up some pieces of tissue paper. So crumble up a piece of red, yellow, and orange, and they can throw the fire through, or you can crumble up blue tissue paper or use blue pom-poms, like bigger ones, and they can throw the water through the fire. Again, we're working on, throwing and working on that hand-eye coordination. So you can have your ladder on the ground, big one. They can hop, 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 and either crawl through this or throw something through it. And if you're having them crawl through this, after this, so they go through the ladder and they crawl through this, on the other side, you could have something for them to hop over. So, oh shoot, I don't have it. So take a block and put some tissue paper on the end so it's like a fire, or you could even use like these. Again, they don't have to be on. You can take the batteries out of them, but take something that's like a little bit taller and put a piece of tissue paper on it, like a cup or something, or an orange cone, put a fire on the top, and they have to jump over it, right? So jumping with 2 feet down the ladder is a different skill than having to jump over something. Again, we're using our body, we're getting it strong, and just with a fun little fire flame. So that is another, spilled my paint, fun idea for you, for your littles. Okay, you ready for some math? Okay, we need this. I need all the space. Okay. So when I was saying butcher paper, this is what I need. So a giant piece of paper. This actually fits on my table. It doesn't look like it, but it does. Or you can put it on the ground. So I have buildings, and they have numbers in them. So what they're going to do is you're going to grab some fire manipulatives. Again, you can do, these are the gems that I use at the light table a lot. Or you can, again, use pom-poms. But this is going to be on the table, and they are going to identify the number and put that many pieces of fire in the window. So again, this is on the table. It wouldn't be on me, but make it to fit your table. So they can put that many in, and then down here, they can say 5, and they put in 5. Well, what they're gonna do is they're gonna drive the fire truck to make it. Now, I know you're like, they're like kind of making it. They're not really. They are learning number formation because they're learning the different strokes. But did you see what happened? I'm moving my wrist a lot, and I'm having to grab this with my fingers, right? So what do we need to have in order to hold a pencil for a long time, or even 5 minutes? We need strong fingers, hands, and wrists. So practicing those number formations, even though it's not maybe the perfect number formation, they are still moving the wrist and using that fine motor. Now, if you don't have a whole bunch of these, it's totally fine. Grab probably a bigger pom-pom than this, but they can trace it with the pom-pom too. So if you don't have a whole bunch of fire trucks, again, totally fine. I got these on Amazon from the party section. It's linked in my storefront. You get like 12. They're pretty cheap. So yeah, or just grab a pom-pom. and they can trace it with the pom-pom, or you can put crayons out and they can actually trace it with the crayons. I like to do crayons on my butcher paper so that way a bunch of kids can trace, and you can still see my actual number that's on there. So, really, really fun. Let me throw this, hold on. Okay, that is over there. All right, so here is a shape activity you can do. So we have our fire Play-Doh back out. So these shape cards are in my centers pack. So there's two different ones. There's ones that are the extinguisher and then ones that have the sides and the vertices. So what better way to practice and explore shapes than making fire shapes? I already made this one. So I took, again, my fire Play-Doh, which is red and yellow and orange store-bought Play-Doh, mixed it together a little bit, and then they can make the vertices with the Play-Doh balls and use the lines with pipe cleaners. These are, if you don't have sparkly ones, it's okay. I like buy them at the Dollar Tree when they have them randomly, like during Halloween, they'll have, you know, the Halloween colors during, you know, USA holidays they have, but usually like the red, white, and blue. Christmas, they'll have the Christmas colors. So, but if you don't have the sparkly ones, these work too. And there you go. So then that way they can make all of the different shapes just in a really fun way. And again, if you don't have these, it's okay. They can just use Play-Doh. They can also use, if these are laminated, they can use a dry erase marker and trace it and write the number of vertices, number of sides. So making some fire shapes is super, super fun. And it comes with a whole bunch of shapes. Okay. Oh, and then put some fire trucks on there so they can make them too. So fun. Okay. So this is another counting game, and as always, I have a whole bunch of different options for you because you know me, I love option. So this is one way you could play it. So you have your number chart. Now this game comes with a number chart that goes from 10, 20. There's also one that goes up to 100 and 50, which apparently is somewhere. I thought it was right there, but it's not. That's okay. So you can do numbers up to 10, up to 20, up to 50, or 100. And what you're gonna do, this is a pool noodle. Cut it in half, and I just put numbers to 20 just on a little popsicle stick. Okay, so they are gonna grab, they can mark it off that way, or as they do it, put the number in, they can cover it up with just a blue gem, or you can use these. Again, use whatever fire colored counter you have. So this is up to 7, and then they would need to find, obviously you would want these in a tray, probably not in the little thing. And then they would go 8, and they can put it in, 8, and then they would find the next one and then cover it up, or again, you can have them mark it out or trace it, totally up to you. If you don't, also make a cut in the top of this across, so, because sometimes it is a little tricky to push this in the fire hose. Well, if you don't want to do it in a pool noodle, that's fine. I have another option for you, don't worry. You know me, I got you. So, we're gonna do this with the example to, oops, maybe that's where it was. Where's it at? So there's also in here an option that they can trace the number, right? So we'll just do 220 again. So you can just put the cards out, right? You can just put all the little cards out, put them in like a little, I have them in a tray over here with the gems. Obviously we're not, if you're doing it to 20, obviously only put the cards in to 20. These are cards to 50. I have them up to 50 printed, ready to go. But, so you're gonna have all your cards in here, and what they're gonna do is find that card, and they are going to clip it on. So 9, again, only have numbers up to 20. So you have all your number cards, and they would do 10, and then they're gonna clip it on. And this is just a ribbon. If you have like a long, like piping, that would be more like a fire hose, but this works too. And again, they can trace it. They can use the gem and cover it up, like whatever you want to have your students do. So I found 10, and then I would look and I would say, okay, what's next? 11 is next, find 11 and then clip it on. And then I would have a great fine motor activity, and I would be working on number order and identifying numbers and writing numbers. So lots and lots of skills in one activity. So many ways to play. And there's also one that's empty. So it has like a 1 and a 20 or a 1 and a 10, depending on what you're doing. And again, that one, so that way they can write the numbers by copying the number on here. So a bazillion ways to play one game. But again, play in a way that works for you, that doesn't stress you out. What do you have on hand? How much time do you have to prep everything? Because it takes obviously a little bit longer to prep this than it does the ones that are on the clips. So that's a fun game to do. Another fun counting game. All right, this one is a super simple. It's just roll and count. So there's 2 different board options. So we have the badges or the hats. They're gonna roll the dice and cover it up. 3. They can also work on supertizing, so which means they recognize how many automatically. So like adults do, 4. So they would find 4. Obviously, if they don't know that that's 3, they can practice 1, 2, 3. So if they can either practice on one-on-one correspondence just by counting. They can practice supertizing 1, which is recognizing how many that is automatically. So a really fun counting game. And again, use whatever fire counters you want. Pom-poms, whatever you want. Or whatever you have on hand. Here's another counting game, because I feel like the fall is when we really practice counting and getting that one-to-one correspondence down pat. So this one has number cards, and it has 10 frames. So they can either pick one card. I'll put these out here. So they could pick one of the cards. And they could do 7, and they would have to put 7 in the house, which it is a 10 frame, but there's 2 down there. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then they could put that many in the fire truck. You could also use little people counters for over here if you want. 6, 7. So they could have to make 7, or you could have them pick a number, and then they would have to find the 10 frame to match it. So again, you can make this as simple or as hard as you want. Again, we're just practicing one-on-one correspondence, counting. One trick I do often have my students do, I said for that to match. I don't think it did. Whatever. You know what I meant. When I have my students count, let's say they're counting out 3, I usually have them put it in their hand. They'll go 1, 2, 3. And then they can recount. 1, 2, 3. I have 3. Because sometimes students who don't have one-on-one correspondence fully yet, they'll just keep going. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 9, 12. And you go, how many do you have? You're supposed to get 3. And they'll go, oh no. And sometimes if it's on a board and there's a bunch, that makes them overwhelmed. But it's easy to start over if it's in their hands. So they can count it out. 1, 2, 3. 3! I have 3. 1, 2, 3. I have 3. And then they can recount. Okay. Another fun one, kind of like the alphabet. We have 2 options. This tower goes up to 10. This tower goes up to 15. What they're going to do, they're both going to start and they roll the dice. 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then they put it on there. And then the next person goes, oh, 6. That never happens. 6. And they go 5. So they have to count on, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then the other person would roll 3, counting on. 1, 2, 3. Or you can have them count if they were here. 1, 2, 3. 9. I need to move up to number 9. You can have them cover the number, up to you, however you want to do it. But again, we're just rolling and we're counting on. Again, firefighters have to go up and down the ladder. So once they get to the top, they have to go all the way back down, which makes the game last a little bit longer. Again, there is one that goes up to just 10 if you would rather do that. So, and also that's a really fun game to practice taking turns, waiting, rolling a dice, all of those things, because at the beginning of the year or even October, I feel like we're still practicing your turn, my turn, your turn, my turn, your turn, my turn. So let's make some patterns. So we have our fire pattern. Let me see if I can move that. There we go. So we have a whole bunch of houses that are on fire, and we want them to extend the pattern. So orange, orange, red, red. And then they would build it. Orange, orange, red, red, orange, orange, red, red. I already did it because you don't want to watch me make patterns. But you would have your students continue the pattern. And if you don't have Unifix cubes, you can always use pom-poms. You can have them use the glass gems, whatever you want to do. This one's red, red, yellow. And then they would continue it. Red, red, yellow, red, red, yellow, red, red, yellow. There's a whole bunch of patterns that it comes with. There's also an empty firehouse, so that way they can then create their own fire pattern. And I just grabbed all the Unifix cubes that are the fire colors. You can put out your whole tub of Unifix cubes. They don't have to, you know, always, like, you don't have to always just have that color out. They can find the colors they need. So that way, this way they can either extend or they can create their own. This is harder than this. So at first they'll copy, right? They'll copy the pattern, which means they'll do it on top, and then they'll extend it, which means they keep the pattern going independently. Or the last level is they are able to make a pattern by themselves. So they'll create their own. So it goes copy a pattern, extend the pattern, and then create their own pattern. So this works for all levels of play. Patterns, sorry, not play. All right, and the last activity I want to show you for math is measuring. So they are going to measure how long the hose is. So they can measure a couple different ways. You can put cubes out or water. Again, you could use whatever manipulative you have. So they are measuring, I already did one, of course. So they're gonna measure how big it is, or how long the hose is. So this one is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 big. It's 7 big. You can also have, like, if you don't have like tubing, it's okay. Just put out some pipe cleaners so they can measure those, and then they can measure how many it is. This one is 1, 2, 3. That one is 3 big. They also come with a little dog ruler, so they can say, oops, this one is, this one is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 dogs big. This one is 5 Dalmatians tall, right? So they can measure a couple different ways. And again, use whatever manipulatives you have that are blue, whatever works. And just a really fun, non-standard measurement activity. Okay. So now I have a light table activity for you. I really hope this is plugged in. Oh, it is. Look at that. Okay. So this is actually a light pad. So if you don't have room for a light table in your classroom, this works great. I'll turn it down a little bit. Oh, that's really bright. So we'll turn it. Okay. It's not turning off. That's okay. So what we're gonna do is you're gonna use your magnet tiles that students love, right? And they can build a house, a fire engine, whatever they want with the magnet tiles. And they can build, because again, we use what we have and we use what students love. So if they love building with magnet tiles, but maybe they've been building with magnet tiles all school year long, and if they're doing the same thing over and over, they are not learning any new skills because they're just, especially when this really applies to blocks and STEM, I feel like a lot. If they come to blocks and they're building the same thing with the same tools and they're not doing anything different, they're not using any new skills, they're not using any new thinking, they're just kind of doing the same thing over and over and over. It's great to reread a book because they're noticing different things in the book, but if they are just going to blocks or grabbing the magnet tiles and building the same things over and over again, they're not learning any new skills. So what you can do is put some fire in the, put these guys, some fire gems in the light table. If you want to be really fancy, you can grab some of these clear, any kind of clear bowl. These are from the Dollar Tree, and they can put fire inside the building, right? So now they're putting it inside. Maybe they want to put it in that way. Maybe they want to try and balance it on the top. Maybe it's gonna fall off. You can also put out the little lights. And again, if you're afraid of the button batteries, just put them out. It's fine. You can also put out some of these, and that can be the water that is putting out the fire. But again, now maybe they're gonna move it around. Maybe they're gonna put it on the top. Maybe they're gonna put it inside. Maybe they're gonna build something so they can put it inside. You can also put out a couple fire trucks. So again, it doesn't always have to be light table things. You can have kind of a mixture of things that are for the light table and that are not for the light table. You could even make a couple of little ladders. So what you're gonna do to make little ladders, so either color the popsicles or dye them black with liquid watercolor, or you can keep them wooden colored. I cut them in, the little ones in half, or you can cut a big one in like thirds and make little pegs, and I just hot glued them together. So then they can put the ladders on my hot glue, little strings. They can put the ladders on the building, and they can make something to put, help the firefighters get up and put the fire out. Again, if they love magnet tiles, add something fun with a twist. You can also put out like a STEM card, or put out maybe something that's on fire, put that out, and they can try and build that. Maybe they want to build a fire station, whatever they want. But again, it's something they already love, and you probably already have, whatever magnet blocks you have, just add some fire gems. And they can also be like, if you have these gems that are circles, or maybe you have, I know there's like those translucent button counters. Anything will work to pretend it's fire, as long as it's like red and orange and yellow. So any of that will work. Okay, so, and I do have these light pads. They're actually for like artists and drawing, but they're great for a little mini light table in your classroom. So, and this is the really big one. But, so, and then they just, okay, I can't get it to turn off, but we'll just unplug it, it's fine. And then my friend Jen uses these in her classroom, and she literally has them on a shelf, and they're kind of against the wall. So that way all the cords are where the students can't get to them. I keep one right here, so I have it for my videos for you guys. So I want to show you guys my blocks center for the fire station. So I'm gonna have you come walk with me in just a second. So are you ready? In my block center, I have a couple different things. Some things you're gonna recognize. So let me turn it around. This is my block center. So I have this shelf, and then I have this shelf over here. This is my shelf that kind of has all the other blocks things. So on this shelf, now when I do a theme, typically the only thing that changes is this top shelf. Everything else kind of stays the same. So what I have out are different things they can build. So things they have in their community. So apartment, a fire station, and a house. I have some nonfiction books. And then I have some dogs and cats, because a lot of times firefighters rescue dogs and cats. I also have some blueprint pages so they can draw their building. I have some me blocks, which are just the little, my student, and I just put their blocks on both sides on a Jenga block. Print 9 to a page, and they fit perfect. I have fire, which is just some tissue paper I crumpled up together. So that way they can put this inside of the building. I have my little firefighters, the flames. And again, if you're worried about the button batteries, just take them out. These are fine. I have this one set of Matchbox, like different fire cars. You can use the fire engines I showed you. I just have some ladders that I made. This is our water. There's some pom-poms. And then I have some cones. And then I have some fire, which is just some red cups that I put a fire on. These are actually included in my Fire Station Dramatic Play unit, but they're also great for the Block Center. And then I also have, where is it? So I have these pieces of cardboard because what students can do, let me see if I can, I'll just build one really quick. They can use these and they can make kind of like levels or like, you know, levels in an apartment, or to add, they can have different stories of a building. And the cardboard, it's literally whatever I have that comes like in my stuff that I get, like maybe these probably came in like a furniture box or something. And then they can stick the fire in and it can be on fire. And then, you know, they can put the ladder up so the firefighters can come save them. Maybe they want, you know, some of like their little friend blocks so they can put them in there so the firefighters can come save their friends. And then they have the little, you know, we have our little firefighters. So again, super, super simple. And a lot of stuff you probably have. This is tissue paper, me blocks, cardboard, and you guys, it doesn't have to like match and all be the same. Like it doesn't have to, it's fine. And then just some fire trucks. And again, any will work. And if you guys, if you only have like 2 or 3 fire trucks, that's okay too. And then some little ladders I made and little firemen. So, and then they have their little apartment, which kind of looks like that because there's different floors or levels to it. Again, nothing crazy or fancy. They could even put like the fire. Of course, I can't get it to separate. They could even put the fire cups on the top. They're sticking together on me, of course. Okay, or they could build it. So, like, how much fun is that? Like, so fun, so simple. And again, if you don't have a ton of fire trucks, it's okay. Just use what you have. So, I mean, you don't have to always have the most amazing, like commercially bought things for your block center. A lot of times it can just be different stuff you have for the classroom that works for your theme. So you can also ask families like, hey, we're doing fire safety next week. Does anybody have any extra fire trucks that we can borrow next week for the block center? And maybe some families will have some extra and they can give them to you. And some, like, I have a lot of stuff from the block center that I have from my own kids from when they were little. You can also check a lot of the, what's it called? Like a resale shop or like a Goodwill type place for a lot of like fire trucks. Because I feel like there are always lots and lots of fire trucks there. And they're a lot cheaper than at the toy store. And you can probably get one at the toy store, whereas you could buy like 3 or 4 if you want some of the bigger ones. But if not, that's okay. You can, you don't need like a bazillion. Like it's okay if you just have 5 small fire trucks. They don't need everything big and fancy all the time. They're just gonna be happy with those 5 fire trucks and all the different fire and all the things. So yeah, so yeah, so I hope you guys loved all of these fire safety theme ideas. If you are watching this recorded, hold on because we are going to connect and here's a tour of the fire station. If not, if you're watching this live, I will see you next time.